Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the Sideline Story. It's your boy Ray Swisher back with K-So. What's up, man?
Good man, how you doing, bro?
Chilling, chilling, chilling. Everything good up there? I know we suffering from this Cowboys loss, but everything good.
Yeah, just getting through it. At this point, it's what the fifth loss, so I'm kind of numb to it at this point. It is what it is. Going
hmm
to it with decent expectations, not too high, not too low, but at least decent. But oh man, it's the Cowboys.
Luckily for the audience, we're not talking about the Cowboys. We just doing a quick really the first week and like a half well that's been like a good 2 weeks now, a good 2 week reaction to the NBA. Um I want to start out with the Celtics, man. I feel like they pretty much come out the gate strong. They lost a close overtime game to the Pacers the other night. That's gonna be this is how it go rigors of the season. But Jason Tatum for sure though. That's somebody I feel like he kind of coming out the gate swinging, averaging 30 points per game. He's actually shooting 50% from the field. His 3 point percentage is I think it's like a career low. But the thing with that is he's averaging like 11 attempts a game, so his output at the three is kind of increased, which is kind of the low percentage is a byproduct of that. And but like I said, he fixed the hitch in his jumper. He coming out the gate strong. He's trying to. It looked like he's trying to make a case for an MVP type year, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of expected it with the offseason he had. With people kind of clowning him for the championship reaction and then the Team USA stuff. So we knew he had a chip on his shoulder coming in. He didn't get the Finals MVP like a lot of people expected him to. So we knew he was gonna come in kind of aggressive and trying to prove like, nah, I'm still that guy. So it's nice to see the team getting off to a quick start though. I like what Jalen Brown is doing as well. Peyton Pritchard got a bigger role off the bench, so they're looking good. It's kind of like what we expected from them. Obviously they holding it down with no Porzingis, but the team is just so well rounded. They can do anything. They defend. They can shoot. I mean, the first game of the season, they almost set a record for most 3 pointers made in the game. Like
Bro, 29
it's
three.
just there's just no rust on this team. They ready to go. So yeah, I'm definitely happy with the start. The Indiana game kind of is what it is. But 6-1, can't complain about that. I like what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, them in Oklahoma City. I feel like those two of the teams. Actually, the Cavaliers, they come out swinging too. I think they still haven't lost the game. I think it's them and
Yeah,
the
they
Thunder,
undefeated.
the teams that haven't lost the game. The Thunder, they kind of like getting back to where they picked up off in the last regular season. Shea is balling. Year two, Chet Holmgren. That's something I kind of want to talk about too, man. Chet definitely making the case that I'm not gonna say he should have won Rookie of the Year. It was gonna be kind of hard. I feel like Wemby was in a tougher position, which kind
Mhm.
of kind of help him with win the award like that. But Chet definitely says I'm one of those guys. His pressure around the rim, his shot making ability. Like I love Chet, man. How you feeling about Chet so far?
Chet is just a dog, man. Like he coming out. I want to see him score a little bit more.
Right.
I think something him and Wemby are doing a little bit more than I would like is shooting too many threes.
hmm
But still, defensively, he's holding it down. He's an anchor. Like it's just, I think he's averaging like 3.5 blocks a game. Like he doing like he's got the obviously the wingspan, the length to do it. He's got the agility to get moved side to side. So they making use of it out there. And that whole team, like we said, it's just on paper they look scary, and we just seen it on the court. They holding up both ends of the bargain. Like defensively, just flying around. They can switch. They can play. They can do whatever they want on defense. Really.
hmm
Shea, he's looking like he might be hitting the next level. He's kind of still making plays and going at a high clip and very efficient, like he's always been. So that team is they looking good right now. They might end up with 3 All-Stars. Like
it's very possible for sure.
I'm looking at those guys play together and they enjoy each other. Like if you watch like they post game and stuff they doing, it's just man, that's a tight knit team and they playing well, undefeated. So I wouldn't be surprised if they snagged that 1 seed again.
Yeah, I was watching them play, and I noticed something about Shea. He's hoisting up 3 pointers. He actually is at a career high 7 attempted threes per game, and you can kind of tell what players in the offseason, the coaching staff or the front office kind of like try to set the tone going into this season. Like you got to shoot more threes, and he's shooting 27% off 7 attempted threes per game. It's not Shea's strong suit. I really feel like he's free throw line. Well, not free throw line, 3 point line and under. I feel like that's his real area of operation. I feel like once he really gets the three ball to go in, they I don't think it's anything you can really do with that team. I feel that I actually feel that way now. I just feel like the next step in his game really is the 3-point shot, and they're playing good on defense. Isaiah Hartenstein hasn't even played his he hasn't debuted yet, and they look this good. Um, I want to talk about the New York Knicks real quick. Um, I'm noticing some stuff about them. I think it was Cash said something about the Towns trade, what it would do as far as like from a depth standpoint. And I heard somebody say, depth is like really a luxury in today's game, especially the way it's played. I feel like once that starting lineup it goes to the bench, like I think me and you said McBride when he comes in, that's kind of the only shot maker they have on the second unit. I feel like I forgot which game it was, but everybody in the starting lineup was pushing 40 minutes per game, and I don't think
Yeah.
something that Coach Thibodeau is going to be able to sustain throughout the season.
No, they're not. That's what I was telling them. Like they don't have enough guard depth. Really, they don't have enough depth at all. We know how Tom Thibodeau coaches his teams and plays his teams. They play a lot of minutes, and obviously, the more minutes you play, the more apt you are to getting hurt. So, and that was the problem for the Knicks last year. They powered through the regular season, but then as it got towards the end, just one by one, they started falling like dominoes. So I think they should have learned from that, invested in getting some depth, and then going that direction. But like you look at them right now, they only usually this early in the season, you might have like a 10-man rotation. They only have like a 7-man rotation right now, and the two coming off the bench are both point guards, McBride and Campaign. Like that's not gonna hold up throughout the whole season. This is not like no matter how good that starting five is, you can't run these guys into the ground, and you got to have a bench. And right now, it's really just McBride off the bench that's producing, and that's not gonna cut it with these teams that's in the East, and just in general. I don't think it's gonna cut it. Like they 3-2 right now, but they could very well be 1-4. Like that team, they got to figure it out. They got to add somebody on the bench or get somebody that can come in and play some meaningful minutes because you're gonna run them to the ground, man.
Yeah. Keep it going here. I want to talk about the Denver Nuggets real quick. I haven't watched every game that they play. I think I missed the Minnesota Timberwolves game, but for the most part, I've kind of watched every game that they play this year. And I want to echo my previous sentiments. Depth is a luxury. It was a lineup. I want to say it was in the Clippers game. I think that was their second game of the season. Coach Malone didn't have a starter in the starting lineup on the floor, and I was kind of like respectfully, but the nerve of you because there's no offense being generated. You could kind of tell why Nikola Jokic had ran out of gas in the playoffs last season. I'm starting to see that linger on into this season. In order for them to really be successful, Jokic has to do any and everything that he can. I kind of feel like at times he has to touch the ball every possession down the floor because if not, the quality of shots that they can generate, they're just poor. Because Jamal Murray, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not saying he looks horrible, but thus far he's a lesser version of what we know. Michael Porter Jr., he hasn't looked like himself at all. Aaron Gordon either. Christian Braun has looked decent at times. Russell Westbrook, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know because they already was like last in 3-point attempts last season, and you add one of the worst shooters in the game, respectfully, because we all love Russ, but I don't really know if they have an out on this team because I know it's a move going to have to be made. It just all depends if Jamal Murray can kind of pick up his play. And it's like every game that they in, it's a dogfight. I think they may have 3 overtime games this season. I know they win the overtime against the Clippers. They win the overtime against, I want to say, the Raptors and the Brooklyn Nets. Every game is like a dogfight, and it's like if they get the overtime, like against the Raptors and the Nets, if they could get you to overtime, they'll win. Just that's a byproduct of the experience they have and the continuity that they have playing together. But you shouldn't be in dogfights with like the Brooklyn Nets or with the Toronto Raptors. These are clearly rebuilding teams. And I don't want to overreact too early, but these signs are very alarming if I'm a Denver Nuggets fan.
Yeah, I think we kind of spoke on it before. Like I think Jokic he can carry any team because he's just that talented, that good, that skilled to where he can run any offense, carry any team. But you don't want him, especially this early on in the season. Like he's already had like a 40-point triple double and just kind of willing his team to victory. And it all comes down to Jamal Murray. That's supposed to be your 1-2. That's your running mate. He hasn't showed up this season at all. Like he's looked terrible. Like so you gotta call it how it is. He has not looked good.
Mhm.
Aaron Gordon is outplaying him. Michael Porter Jr. is outplaying him. It shouldn't be that way because he's the second highest paid player and he's supposed to be your second best player. So he's got to get out of whatever slump or funk he's in and figure it out because if they make a move, he's gonna be the one to get moved. I think. I think you would go and try and get like an all-star guard to pair up with Jokic and Murray. He's supposed to be that all-star guard, and right now he's not holding up his end of the bargain. So he's got to figure out what's going on with his game and get back to it because I don't see Jokic really trying to put up with lackluster play from his other running mates for too long. We ain't seen him throw his weight around with that franchise yet, but
We have
he has every right to do it. He's a 3-time MVP, and so if he wants to start doing that, I wouldn't blame him. And Jamal Murray, he will be the first one on the chopping block for me. Russ hasn't been that great. He did have one really good game, but I think I think he's still gonna be fine. He's playing good defense. I'll say that. Christian Braun is playing really good. They got 5 guys averaging double figures,
got five, sure.
yeah, they got to get some type of consistency and get some type of bench. Who's gonna be that other guy to come off the bench? And is it gonna be DeAndre Jordan playing more minutes? I doubt it. Peyton Watson's been all right, so yeah, they got to figure out how they want to get their rotations down. But this is the time to figure it out. It's still early. You're still 3-3, so you're right there in the mix. Just figure it out, find what works, and then go from there. But yeah, they got to get Jokic some help.
Yeah, Jamal Murray actually, if you pull up his stats, he's shooting a career low in field goal and 3-point percentage. 3-point percentage this is the worst he shot since he's been in the league at 4.6 attempts per game at 30%. And that field goal, he's averaging 15 field goals, but 37%. This is a career low from the field. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. This not looking good. I don't know if they'll be able to trade him because if a team feel like he's kind of damaged goods, they might be stuck, and they just gave him a contract extension. I'm thinking if you got to add on this team, it might be Michael Porter because Aaron Gordon is like your best defender on this team. And another thing I've noticed that's alarming too. If you look at it, it seems like Jokic is their best 3-point shooter. Normally, like Murray and Michael Porter Jr. himself, he's like more of a 3-point specialist. Well, that's what we see him as. He could shoot the three really good. Jamal Murray, he could get real streaky from three. He could get high, but Jokic just seems like he's the only one with consistent 3-point ability. I think against the Clippers, he made a career high 7 threes. Nobody else could really hit a three.
Did you see the ending to the last game where like Jokic pretty much just took the ball full court and was like dribbling, trying to get himself his own open three because nobody else.
It was
the Timberwolves game. Yeah,
that was the only game I missed. I watched every other game, but I missed that
last possession. He's just dribbling all the way full court, dribbling with Gobert guarding him and just trying to like get space to shoot a three because he's not dependent on anybody else to be able to do it. Like that's how bad it is out there right now.
Yeah, I feel like we'll see like the first real frustration from Nikola Jokic this year. I remember it was a play. Michael Porter Jr. was wide open in the corner. For some reason, he chose to cut to the basket. Jokic passed the ball to the corner and then went out of bounds. You could just see him like, wow, Michael, like what's going on? Like they all out of sorts right now. They were able to get off a couple of wins against some inexperienced teams, but I don't know. Like they may have to make a move at some point because you got like they say he the best player in the league in Nikola Jokic. A lot of people had that opinion. He's right in the middle of his prime, and you really don't want to waste these types of years with these special type of players, especially the player that he is. Like you just said, 3-time MVP, NBA champ, NBA MVP. It's like you don't want to waste that. So I kind of can't wait to see what they do. Hopefully they're able to do something. I don't really know if they have too many outs, but so this is what I'm hearing. I'm pretty sure you've seen the reports too. We all got Bleacher Report and stuff like that. The rumblings is that Giannis can be the first player to ask out this season. That's kind of what the speculation is. How you feeling about that right now?
I just think it's a little premature. It's very early. Obviously they haven't got off to the start they want. They look poorly coached with Doc Rivers over there. But I just think it's a little bit too early. You don't have Middleton playing yet. So I think you got to give him a little bit of grace and leeway and kind of let the team try and figure it out. He's been up and down with his scoring. So Giannis has been consistent. He's looked like arguably one of the best players in the league so far this season. So I get the everybody wanted to pull the trigger and be like, oh, here we go. What's Giannis gonna do? But I think we just kind of got to slow down, see another couple weeks, see how it goes. It's very, very early. I mean, a lot of teams are kind of slumping right now. So let's just let we haven't seen a lot of Dame and Giannis together. This is really like a kind of redo of what we didn't get last year. So let's just see them kind of see what they can do, see what Doc Rivers can scheme up or figure out. And then if it's still looking this bad come December time frame, then yeah, I think then it would be warranted to like, okay, yeah, we should be hearing like some disgruntled news coming from Giannis and this and that. But right now, it's early. I'm not really putting too much stock into it, but it's definitely something to watch.
Yeah, this is a player like he makes it known. Like I want to win championships only. Like you said, we haven't seen a lot of him and Dame together due to like unforeseen, well not unforeseen but unfortunate injuries. And Chris Middleton, to be honest, I don't really know what all he can like patch up on this team. Like they 1-5 right now. They're at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. I'm not gonna lie, that's like worst case scenario. I don't know how much leash he'll be giving this franchise at the end of the day. I know he did sign the extension, but that don't really mean nothing in today's game. They all ask out. I definitely could see a situation where it's like Dame and Chris Middleton, they might be stuck on this team for real. Or I feel like if Giannis says I want out, that's an instant rebuild. But 1-5 is like worst case scenario. They can't really defend anybody. I remember me and my homie, shout out to the kid Rod, we had a running joke when we played parlays. Any guard playing against the Milwaukee Bucks, take them over on points because they cannot defend the perimeter. The other night, they could not do nothing with Kobe White. Like this, you know what I'm saying? Like this is like the worst. It's worst case scenario to start the season off. I don't really know what the positives are for real. Like you got some players on this team, but they all old. I feel like they're one of the oldest teams in the league, and it's like the same with Nikola Jokic. You got this generational superstar, a top 4 player in the NBA. You don't want to waste these years. And kind of like the Nuggets, I don't really know what out they do have. It's kind of like you can't trade anybody other than Giannis and bring back significant takes. So it's like if Giannis was to ask out, it's an instant rebuild. It's not even close. But
I mean, the one kind of like I give them the reason I say I give them a little bit of leeway is because they haven't had the easiest start to the season. They played Philly, they played Boston, they played Cleveland. Those are arguably three top teams. If you
but
don't count
Joel
the Knicks.
Embiid, no, Paul George has played for Philly yet.
But I still feel like Philly is a really good team, even without those guys. Obviously, those guys make them way better. And that game really, I mean, I'm gonna give them a little bit more time, see if they can get into a groove. But I mean, I think hiring Doc Rivers was not the move to begin with. I never understood that. I thought Griffin was doing a good job with them. So yeah, but I think that whole Bucks organization, that front office, they should be shaking in their boots because you're off to a slow start. These rumblings aren't. There's 6 games into the season, and we're hearing these things. That's not good. So
not good. It's too early for that.
You got to figure it out. Be proactive if you can. I know it's kind of early for trades to be popping off, but you got to figure something out. Stop the bleeding. Figure out when Middleton's going to be back because it could definitely spiral out of control real quick. So you want to kind of find some type of solution and get that train going the right way.
So let's do this. Say we look up and the Bucks are like 10-23. Do you think Giannis doesn't let it get that far?
No, that's too far. 10-23 is that's almost half the season, and 13 games under. Nah, there's no way. They're gonna cut. That's done. He's gonna be out of there, or like everybody's gonna be out of there. But that can't happen. That's bad. So don't let it get to that. Even I think if you get like even more like 7 games under 500, right now you're 1-5. If you get even like 7 games under 500, that's not looking good. I think Doc Rivers will be out. I think it'll be a whole new looking team. So yeah, figure that out.
It kind of sucks, man. Shout out to Paolo Banchero, man. It kind of sucks, man. You got this, what is it, like an oblique or something like that? They look like they was coming out strong, man. They just paid Jalen Suggs. They paid Fonz Wagner in the offseason. It's like they was gearing up for another run at it. And definitely this is going to be a big delay. He was making the case for another all-star season. It's like they kind of stopped dead in their tracks. That's the sucky part about sports, man. I hate seeing like a team with such great momentum get derailed by an injury. I hate seeing that in sports for real. It's just how the game go. But
yeah, he was coming off that 50 piece too, so it definitely hurts. But I mean, it's 4 to 6 weeks and you get reevaluated, so it's not too. It's not like season ending at too much time, like
Yeah,
early. So you rather it happen now rather than later. But yeah, hate to see injuries, especially for like a promising player and a promising team. Really, with the Magic, they were looking good. So hopefully they can
yeah,
stay above water for this next
yeah,
month. Maybe come back
yeah.
and kind of pick back up.
That's the only thing. Hopefully, they're not too far behind the gun. Luckily for them, the Eastern Conference ain't a. It's not. It's really top heavy. A lot of they. I feel like if they could kind of hover around 500, they'll be able to make a late push. But definitely, they'll be yeah, they'll be hurt by that for sure. So I was watching the Suns the other night. Um, they played the Mavericks. I know the Mavericks. It was a tough loss. I watched them play the Lakers a couple of times. They look like a stable, kind of a stable team right about now. Like guys like Plumlee, Tyus Jones, Royce O'Neal. Like you get, I think that do they have Monte Morris?
Monte, yep, they do.
Yeah, so it's like you bring a lot of pieces around your big three, and it seems like they could be pretty stable. How you feel about their chances in the West at a 5-1 start right now?
I like what I'm seeing out of them right now. I'm kind of intrigued at how they're playing Bradley Beal. Like he's not played he's missed 2 games, but it
Mhm.
wasn't like it was a back to back. So I don't really know how they managing his health or what their plan is for it. But whatever it is, they only got 1 loss, so it's working. And the games he's played, he's looked really good in. He's like what we've been saying. He's like that third scorer that we expected him to be for them, and it's really giving them a boost. They had a good win against the Lakers. You know, they had, like you said, the win against the Mavericks. And they just kind of, it's every night is somebody else that's stepping up and kind of doing their part. So it's not been really KD so much. It's been Book some nights. It was Bill one night. Jokic is playing good. Grayson Allen coming off the bench now is a little bit different for him, but they looking all right. I had concerns with the bench coming into the season, but I mean, so far they've got like a 10-man rotation, like 10 guys that's playing minutes, and it's working. So it's kind of the opposite of what the Knicks are doing. They're not letting they're a top heavy team, but they're not playing like a top heavy team. They're kind of letting those other guys get minutes in, so that you're not putting too much on your starters. I mean, they are. I mean, KD is playing 40 minutes, which I don't like, but I think they'll kind of tailor that down, and they keep winning. Obviously, the more you win, the more kind of space you got to tinker with the lineups and kind of bring those minutes down for your players. So they're looking good so far, and I got high hopes for them. This is the team we wanted to see when they first formed, like competing for championships, and due to injuries, which we hate, we didn't get to see it. But now it's looking like they here, and obviously KD, the clock is ticking. So been a lot of chatter about him and where he ranks, like on the all-time list, and the way he's gotten his championship. So he itching to kind of get another one with this team and kind of get that talk off his name. So
Yeah, I'm trying to see how I wanted to approach this one. Oh, Tyus Jones is somebody I wanted to give credit to. Shine some light on him real quick. They were showing some of his stats, like the assist to turnover ratio is always one of the best in the league. He could spread the floor. He could run the offense, get everybody where they need to be. And then if you got to turn it over to Devin Booker or Bradley Beal, you could do the same. It's like they feel. I like what Coach Bud done. They shooting a lot of threes. They making a lot of threes. I think one game against the Lakers, it was like the first quarter, the first half, they might have drained like 12 threes, something crazy. They got off to a hot start. They ended up losing that game, but I kind of like they start to the season. I think that was one of the teams I may have talked myself out of when we did that segment earlier this summer. But hey, I'm always down for being wrong. Hopefully they can sustain this run. Tinseltown, man. I want to give credit to JJ Redick. I don't think we was low on him. I don't think we had low stock on him for sure. I know one thing I did say, I didn't like the job. I wasn't a fan of the job and what came with it, but I do like the system he was able to implement. He's definitely put emphasis on the 3-point shot. And I feel like the biggest adjustment is running any and everything through Anthony Davis. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's the leader in points and points in the paint. This is the best I've seen him look in a long time.
yep,
LeBron hasn't been off to the hottest start, but 39 years old, finna be 40 in December. Like, it's gonna be real spidey with him. I know they came off a tough loss against the Cavaliers. They 7-0, so that's just how it goes right now with them. I like guys like Austin Reeves. He looked good in some spots. Rui has looked good. Rui looked good attacking the offensive glass.
yeah.
D'Lo has looked good in certain spots. How you feeling about the Lakers so far, bro?
I mean, like you said, shout out to JJ Redick because this version of Anthony Davis is what we were supposed to get when him and LeBron first joined up
Yep,
with the Lakers. Like
yep,
it was supposed to be AD was supposed to be your number one option. Then LeBron kind of on the tail end of his career being a number two. Like this is how you put like this is what we've been waiting for me personally. This is what I've been waiting for AD since like early with the Pelicans. Like just
mhm, both.
dominant, being able to do whatever, staying healthy. Like this is what he was supposed to be. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Lakers as much as it pains me to say. I do think Russell. I think he still ends up getting dealt somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
They do still, even though they're off to a decent start, you could tell like they kind of lacking another piece. Austin Reeves has looked pretty good. He's kind of been a
Yeah.
little up and down, but he's looked decent for the most part. Rui Hachimura, like you said, he's great. Dalton Connect. I
I
don't.
like him. I
Man,
like him,
he's a rookie.
I
He's a
like him. Yeah,
rookie,
I like
so man, hopefully he gets a little bit more going. But then like it's like the bench. I'm not really sure where they're gonna go with the bench. Jackson Hayes, Max Christie, Gabe Vincent coming back from the injury. I'm not sure what you do with that bench or if you go out and get somebody else. But yeah, I love what JJ Redick is doing. Like their offense, the ball moves. It's the offense is night and day from what Darvin Ham was doing. I don't know what he was. I don't know how he got that job, but JJ Redick is definitely doing his thing. You know, he's a basketball savant. We've seen him just the way he talks about the game and how passionate he is about the game. We see why. Obviously, him and LeBron had their whole thing going on, and he got the job because he has like a game plan, like a set, like he knows what he wants to do with the team, and he's moving forward with it. So I'm interested to see what he does as far as if he wants to make trades or if he wants to make suggestions for trades to Pelinka, how they go about it. But yeah, JJ Redick is looking like the guy for the job, and AD is looking like an MVP. I love that for him because I like AD a lot.
Yeah, 19 field goal attempts for like 60%, 31 points a game. That's a career high. That's like 7.6 7 point increase from last season from 30 to 31 years old. So it's like you can have success running everything through AD, and this is what they said LeBron wanted the whole time since acquiring AD. And I don't really understand why it took Vogel, Ham, now Red, like all these coaches. I don't. That's kind of the confusing part. Why it's taking so long to really set this up? And if it was wanted the whole time, that's the part I'm kind of confused about. And you
Yeah,
have you got the same pieces in play. They didn't really make any. They didn't make any moves. It's like you kind of got the most out of what you already had. That's the confusing part. Why is this philosophy now being implemented when they had all this time? That's the kind of thing that's confusing me right about now.
I think. I mean, obviously, I'm no Lakers insider, but I feel like for me, it's kind of like I think it's all on JJ Redick. Like I think JJ Redick has sat back and he's watched so much basketball and he's watched these teams over the past few years, so he knows like I mean, the whole world knew they should have been playing through AD, but obviously when you got injuries and then just even when he's not injured, they was still kind of AD seemed like he was kind of hesitant or the offenses wasn't really fitting for him. So I think JJ Redick, knowing that this job was a possibility, I think he had ample time to kind of figure it out, scheme, draw up stuff that he knew would be able to work for AD because AD is one of the most versatile players we have in the league. Like he can handle the ball, he's an underrated passer. He can still shoot when he needs to. He can stretch the court. Like it's just he's an obvious choice to who you should be playing through him, using him as like a hub. Like that's what they were saying for the longest. Use him as a hub. Use him as a hub. So it doesn't make sense why Ham wasn't doing it, but I think Redick just had that opportunity to just sit back, scheme up for him, even though he didn't have a job. But I think he would have been scheming for what AD could be if you listen to him talk. And now he's getting that opportunity. And I think he's also just a coach that's not really I think he's a player's coach, but I don't think he's like a pushover. I think he goes in there and he's going to demand the player's respect. He ain't not afraid to, yell at a player. He's not worried about losing his job like I think Darvin Ham might have been. He's out there really coaching and really because he's played the game at a high level for so long. I think he kind of knows what that team needed and he's doing it for them.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Mavs right now. They actually up by 23 against the Orlando Magic without Paolo. I was actually watching the beginning of that before we started recording. Luka, he looked like old Luka tonight. I know it's kind of been a slow start for him. He kind of looked. I'm not gonna say he looked hurt, maybe like out of shape. You didn't really play in the preseason. Sometimes you got to play your way into shape. We all know how that goes. Klay Thompson has looked good in spots. I kind of want them to get him more involved in the offense. One of my fears is sometimes he'll kind of be like sitting around watching, like Luka and Kyrie. operate. They'll try to get him involved too. It's kind of like he is the third option, and he's just a catch and shoot player, so it's kind of real spotty with his looks. One thing I don't like about the season is where's the lob? I feel like last season we kind of made a living off the alley-oop play, and this season it's kind of, I'm not gonna say it's being taken away. I feel like it's just not an option. I feel like we need to find a way to incorporate that in the offense. And it's just another season that will go as far as Luka takes us. Kyrie, he kind of started off slow. He had an excellent game the other day. I can't remember who it was against. I want to say it was it against Houston? I can't really remember. He had like a 28 or 30, something like that. But Derek Lively has been, that's a luxury right there, bro. I love his energy. I love his rebounding. I love his defense, his rim protection. I feel like if he could get like that elbow jumper or like that LaMarcus Aldridge 15, 17 footer, if that can be like the next evolution of his game, I feel like we'll just have an embarrassment of riches on offense. But yeah, it's just we live and die with Luka in that step back three. He done took his attempts up to 11 attempts per game. Yeah, he's frustrating, but you know we all love him, man. But how you feeling about my team so far?
Yeah, they off to a solid start. I think like I always felt like it was going to be more of like a push and pull with Luka and Kyrie, and then Kyrie obviously had that 35-point game versus Minnesota, which I think from here on out for his career, anytime he go against Ant,
Minnesota. My bad. Minnesota. That's what I can't remember. Yeah,
I think he's gonna be trying to cook him, and then he had the 28-point game against Houston, but that was a tough loss. But I think like you said, Luka's kind of working his way back into shape, back into the game. But that's Luka, so I got no worries about him. Clay, he's been, I feel like he's been kind of a little bit better than what I expected. Like I obviously I wanted him to play well, but I think a lot of people had their doubts, thinking he might have been kind of washed at this point. But I think he's played pretty good for them. So I like what I'm seeing out of him. I think with the lob, I think it's just that obviously they were able to kind of use that a lot last season. Teams are going to be kind of looking for it now, so you're going to have to find different ways to score some points, especially after that finals appearance, and we saw how Celtics kind of played the lob. So they're gonna find different ways to score, but they got the personnel and they got the means to do it. So not really too worried. Like you said, Luka is on the tear right now in that game. They are big in the third quarter, 27 points now. So, but yeah, I think Gafford and Lively. I think is gonna be kind of the keys for them. Like they got to keep those two big men out of foul trouble and just being productive. And they'll be right back in the finals because we know what Luka and Kyrie are gonna give you. And for me, Clay has been doing more than what I expected. So I'm liking it.
You got anything else?
I just want to give kudos to the Cavs. I was kind of tough on the Cavs. I said I don't see how Garland and Mitchell would work, and I mean they off to an undefeated start. Those guys they playing really well. Obviously Mitchell had that game winner last night against the Bucks. So yeah, the Cavs are looking good. Mobley, I mean, he hasn't quite taken that next step yet, but I mean, you can't argue with 6-0, or 5-0, 6-0, whatever they are.
That's 7-0.
7-0. I mean, that's as good as it gets. So, I mean, we'll see how long they're able to keep this up, or if they're able to sustain. But gotta show some love to the Cavs. They getting it done out there.
Yeah, it's just a super early reaction or overreaction or whatnot. Me and B8 Mill gonna try to get an episode out to y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna have this out tomorrow for sure. Okay, so man, I appreciate you pulling up, bro. We're gonna keep doing this as we keep watching.
Man, of course.
Yeah, have a blessed night.